What is one thing from the 90s that you miss? Going out and just being gone. No, you can't call me, text me or track me. When will I be home? The fuck if you know? The absence of cameras in everyone's pocket. I miss knowing I can do something stupid and not have my stupidity be made available for millions of people to see. Lack of cell phones, the need to respond to emails within 10 minutes of receiving them. The charade of being available at all times really affects mental health. There is no free time to let go and relax. 007 on the 64-inch choosing a job in American. All my sisters and cousins on Versus with the golden gun and watching them all cry one by one. The relative innocence. The 80s were over, communism was mostly gone by then, the internet was something to be enjoyed and not a place for people to moralize and to police each other. Kids still played outside, things were less commercialized. Not everything was a political or cultural issue. You could just watch a movie for its own sake instead of for political reasons. Lots of really good British alternative trip-hop bands. Portishead, Massive Attack, My Bloody Valentine, Curve, Lush, Oasis, Pulp, Catherine Wheel, Ecstasy, The Sundays, and on and on. Grunge was good, and gets a lot of notoriety, but there was so much more to 90s music. Talking shit. It was an art form back in the 90s. Now everyone takes everything you say literally, which is 180 degrees opposite. I never took anything anyone said at face value in the 90s. Lamau, Tori Amos CD singles. The B-sides where she played Hendrix of 6 for 9 or Joni Mitchell A Case of You or just Experiment. Proper arcades. Not play for tickets for shit prizes arcades, but back when the newest, hottest games, especially fighting games, would hit the arcade first and you'd go there and pump tokens in with your friends. And then eventually get a crappier version as a home port. By far the biggest thing I'm nostalgic for. Riding my Razor scooter through Brooklyn to buy Pokemon cards from the baseball card shop, then playing a game or Suicide Horse or kickball at the schoolyard before heading home to watch Dragon Ball Z. I miss my custom vehicles, cruising with my friends, and my excessive amounts of stereo equipment. Not because I think the loud stereo is cool, but because I had such a loud system in the 90s. Now I'm going deaf. Not being expected to answer a message within seconds of it being sent, then getting someone pissed off with. Then, the anonymity. No real social media presence, so you could actually be alone with your thoughts and no cell phone attached to your hands. X200B. Oh, I'm looking for Fruitopia caps. Seeing sport courts and fields filled with PPL playing games. All day on the weekends or fair weather days, the fields courts had endless games with PPL you knew or didn't know. Didn't matter, all were welcome to join. A lot shit talking though, haha. I miss the simplicity of life in the 90s. No social media, no smartphones, no constant accessibility. Just good old-fashioned entertainment like Tamagotchis, Beanie Babies, and Nickelodeon shows. Life was just a little less complicated back then. I miss CD stores. I know I could go to one now still, but it's not the same. I think the blissfully ignorance on how much more convenient music shopping could be in the future made CD stores seem so cool and fun to browse at the time. My whole childhood. It felt like the peak of humanity. Video games were just hitting their stride, every new computer was a huge leap forward and everyone was optimistic. People were nearly as tolerant but much less sensitive. It'd be great if we're as tolerant as today without all the dogma and outrage. Seems like a joke back then was just that. A joke. And there was some laughter. Because life ultimately is very much joke-like. People actually using the telephone. I hate when people insist on texting, which can make a conversation take 10 times as long or more as a quick 30 seconds conversation by voice. Being able to enjoy being taken on vacation and not having to worry about the cost of anything or where my next meal was coming from while on it. Being at a friend's house and having him call my mom on the landline to ask her if I can stay one more hour. Riding around on bicycles with your friends after school to ride to each other's houses, the park. Additionally, having tackle football at the local park without anyone telling their moms who threatened to sue. Getting out of a chair without making groaning noises and having my knees sound like I'm stepping on a sheet of bubble wrap. AOL. Fuck. I miss hearing those odd noises, knowing that I'm about to connect with millions of strangers or uncharted websites where the child would type in www insert whatever here. Com just to see if it exists and what it might be. Also, I remember my mother or father telling me to get off the phone because they are trying to make a call or are expecting a call. Good memories. Clear electronics. How have these not come back in style in some way? I realize we don't have thick chunky house phones anymore, but come on, I'm begging. Being able to go out with your friends unsupervised, and just be told to be back at a certain time or for dinner. No electronic leashes, cell phones. Going out with your friends and actually talking to each other and enjoying the event with 0 people on the phone. Leaving the country 2-3 times a year to dive. I was single and had no real ties, plenty of cash to do it, and a fairly generous amount of vacation time. Many music CDs and cereal boxes. No one believes me that was a thing, but I have one somewhere. I think they were called CD samplers. As somebody who was a teenage boy in the 90s, I have to say the women. I'm sure a lot revolves around what was considered sexy during a young man's formative years, but good lord. That golden era where Playboy and Baywatch crossed defined sex appeal for my generation. The hot stars of today, while unimaginably beautiful, just don't do it for this old fart in quite the same way. Not having a cell phone. Getting home and listening to the answering machine since no one expected me to be available 24/7. Couch gaming. Having to be in the same room as your buddies while trying to play Smash Brothers or Mario Kart built a sense of togetherness instead of playing over the internet. Getting new PC games for our gateway PC. Legos. Riding BMX bikes with friends. Trampolines. Trading Pokemon cards. Tamagotchi. Thinking there would never be a better system than N64. WWF WCW. Gathering around the TV to watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with family friends. McDonald's Monopoly. Everything. Watching Home Alone on Christmas Day. Sleeping until noon. Waking up to being called for breakfast and playing. Don't have to work, pay bills, do the laundry and dishes. The funny fashion and music we love. Ripley's too, I guess. It was a fun time, but maybe because I'm still a kid then, just being bored sometimes. Especially in a group of friends. Just hanging around, not chillin'. The one thing about being old is seeing all the younger folks saying current music sucks. Cause I'll let you 90s folks in on a secret, people missed the music of the 60s 70s and thought 90s music sucked. My age. Licking the last bit of ice cream from a paddle pop stick and seeing if won a free one. Watching Rage and most of the music. Saturday morning Disney and trying to win one of their prize packs. My Barbie Fold and Funhouse and Polly Pockets. The Saturday morning cartoons like Dragon Ball Z, and Ninja Turtles, Dexter's Laboratory, Clifford. Anonymity, and yes, optimism about the future. While we lost the first one, second is still a possibility, even though we are in the last 10%. The gas prices. No fucking drug commercials on TV every other damn commercial break, or the healthcare bullshit, or a car commercial for one we will never buy. Striking up conversations with a stranger without it seeming as creep move. I'm a woman and I prefer to naturally strike up conversations since I don't have social anxiety nor am I an extrovert. Nowadays, everyone is behind phones and shaking like a leaf with in-person interactions. Just makes me feel sad and missing the 90s early 2000s.